Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in this afternoon. My name is Lay Bella Ralston. I'm also known as Mommy Lay on the internet. Again, like what Nicole said, a little bit of kind of like things here. Make sure that I am in speaker view. I want to make sure also. And then also we have the chat section so that if you have any questions or, every time we do an engagement here, and I really love that. So use the chat section to, give in your input or anything. Say hi to everyone. Let's say, we're friends here now. So I'm super excited because this is our first. Is this your first Halloween? No, last week we did a little bit of spooky things, but today we're going to do a little bit of happiness because we are going to be playing with our favorite Faber-Castell Gelatos. So here we go. Again, so today, because we are going to be creating something really might take us long, and I really want to finish this class. So I'm going to stop blabbering here and start moving on. Okay, so I want to first talk about our materials. Faber-Castell Gelatos. Now, I know that a lot of the colors that I have in here, you might not have, and it's okay. But basically what we're gonna need is black, we need purple, we need a little bit of pink. If you have like a deep blue, that's gonna work as well. A little bit of yellow, that's perfect. And then we're gonna need to create a perfect circle in the middle. But you know what? It doesn't really have to be perfect. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use this template that I got from Michael's, this one. I'm going to use the biggest one. It's a 1.125 size. This is the largest. I want to make sure that I'm able to pull your chat in here. And I want to say hello quickly to everybody. Hey, Buffy from Santa Ana, California. Hey, Mary, happy spooky Wednesday, that's for sure. Hey, LJ, hello there. Hey, Barbara from Denton. Barbara, when are we going to have a cool weather here in Texas? Hey, Angie from New Jersey. Hello, Laura from Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, Belle. Hello there. Hi, Cher. Hi, Tina. Hello, everybody. Hi, Christine. We have some friends from Tennessee. Hello, everybody. Hey, Sue from California. Okay, I'm so ready for cooler weather. Also, I'm there with you, Barbara. Okay, so I did tape my. This is a watercolor paper pad. Now, if you don't have a watercolor paper pad, a mixed media, that will work. And then, like what I said, we're going to use the gelatos today. And so we're going to need baby wipes or some water or some moisture, a little bit of water on the side that you can dip your maybe pointer finger to start blending. That always helps. Hey, Isabella. Hello, dear. Hey, Karen. Okay. And then I'm going to use, like what I said, the template that I got, the circle template. If you don't have this template, what you need to do is find anything that will have, a circle like this. And we're just really going to try to be really careful with blending the purple and all that. Okay, because what we're going to do is this is going to be the inside of this will be our moon, like a big bright moon. Okay, so but with me, I'm going to try and create a kind of like we're going to create that negative space in there by using a painter's tape, just like this. And I'm going to go put the painter's tape on top. And then I'm going to use an X-ACTO knife to cut through my circle so that I can create a really clean circle negative space in there. It's like this. So you need an X-ACTO knife to do this, or maybe if you have a really, really sharp scissor, that's going to work as well. But an X-ACTO knife really does work wonders. And like what I said, we're going to need a baby wipes to blend or some water. Both are going to work. And I have my baby wipes in here, paper towel for cleanup and all that. So now that I have my painter's tape in there, I'm just going to grab my X-ACTO knife and then I'm going to cut through the sides. Just be careful when you're working with X-ACTO knife. And I'm talking to myself because I'm most of the time not so careful. If you don't have a painter's tape, a washi tape, some not so tacky tape is going to work. See, I told you I'm not careful with this silly thing. Okay, I think it's cool. All right. Ah, now it's not a perfect circle. It's okay. But having it this way will make it easier for me to blend without worrying, that inside. Then I can just kind of like blend on top of that and not worry about our circle. All right. I know, right? So now it's quick. So I'm going to wait for you just a couple of seconds, a minute, while I talk about the other material that I'm going to use today. Okay, so I am also going to use the Faber-Castell, the PITT Artist Pens. These are the big brush pens. I have it in white, the 101, and then I have the black 199, and then I have the orange glaze. I believe this is 113 because I'm kind of like gripping everything. I'm losing the numbers. If you don't have an orange, I also pulled out my cadmium yellow, which is the 107. It will work. It's kind of like the light inside our haunted house. That's what I'm going to use that for. And I'm going to use the white to add kind of like, stars around it. And then we're also going to draw some cute ghosts. Okay, so what we want to start with is going to be our pink one. So we're going to start with the pink. You know what? I should just kind of like peel that little bit of tape peeking through, but it's going to be okay. All right, so we have the bubble gum. I have pink sapphire as well. So I have different finish in here. So the Faber-Castell Gelatos, we have the pastel set, we have brights, we have metallics, we have iridescents. So the metallic, of course, will have that metallic sheen. Iridescent are really created to kind of like overlay on top of other colors, because what happens with the iridescent, it's like almost magical, because basically the pigment sometimes is different. For example, I have this one, which is the pink sapphire, and this is an iridescent. I can already see that the pigment is pink, and then the mica powder, or that shimmer that you're going to see, there's an undertone of like purple sheen to it. So it's going to look so pretty. So every time I overlay the iridescence on top of kind of like a bright, it creates, and blends into another color, but adds that, it also adds the shimmer, that is so pretty. So I love different. I love the metallics, I love the brights, but the iridescent is kind of like so different that I am so all over that. And now we have the metallic grape. Um, this is the one that I have. I have a question of how much will this circle and what can we use under this one, the bottom of your cup, like this one, a small bowl. I have a camera lens, anything circle that you can use in there. So maybe this one might be too big, but just kind of find that one that will have like a circle shape in there. Yes, the Faber-Castell Gelatos, it does look like a lip gloss, and sometimes it looks so edible too, because this one, especially the metallic, it's like you want to put it in there and also eat it kind of like a lollipop, but it's not, so please don't eat that. It's not meant for that. Okay, so I have the pinks, I have the purple. For the deep blue, I pulled out this satellite. So it's kind of like a very deep blue, but at the same time, it has this kind of like, I don't know, maybe like a green mica powder undertone to it, but it's gorgeous. I might use that as well. All right. And then I have black, which is the black licorice. So this is the one, the black. All right, we'll set that aside. And then I have the Lunar. We're just going to use the Lunar just to add highlights. But if you have the white PITT Artist pen, you might not need the Lunar, but I just have it here. And then for my moon, I am going to use the iridescent. This is the Canary Diamond color. It's so pretty. It's like a very light yellow. Now, if you have a bright yellow, that works too. You don't have to have the exact colors. If you have like bright yellow or a bright orange, that's going to work as well. Okay. All right. Are we ready? Okay, we're going to start with our pink, and I'm going to grab my baby wipes in here. I'm going to start with my bubblegum color. Let me see this. Now, remember when we're using baby wipes, what's going to happen is that I always say this because I want to remind everybody that we're going to take some of the pigment. We're going to lift some of those pigment, right, that we applied. But the good thing about the gelatos is that we can add more opacity or more of that saturation by adding another layer. All right, so I'm just going to go round and circle here. So around my circle. Now, if you don't have the tape, you want to make sure that to be careful around that. But because I have my tape, this is why I use it, is that I don't really want to be careful. But if you don't have the circle, just be careful around it. So go around that because you're going to color in the moon later on with the yellow. So you just want to be a little careful. Okay, I'm going to have my pink in there, and then I'm going to go in with my purple color. This is the metallic grape. If you have another purple color, that's fine too. But I figured the metallic will add some, extra prettiness to this one. We're just going to go around after that pink. So when you're using your gelatos, if you have heavy hands like me, just kind of try to be as gentle as you can, especially for just the first layer, because we're going to lift up some of those pigments anyway. So just kind of like go gentle and don't apply so much pressure. And if you have like little extras on the side, just go like this. Pick up those little crumbles on the side. All right. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit of that satellite color, but I'm going to add black anyways here. So I know I have Galaxy also. Where's the Galaxy? This one is the Galaxy. This is like a deeper purple, but it's so pretty also. Look at the metallic grapes, and this one is the Galaxy. I know, Jen, you know what? I saw that they don't really have all the materials in the registration, but if you go look down even more, all the colors that I have mentioned is in there. So, because I double checked, if you look at the description, you're not going to see all of the materials used. But if you go scroll down a little bit more, it's actually there. But then again, remember that, this is recorded. So what you can do is kind of like watch right now, or use other colors first just to kind of play along with me and create along with me today. And then later on, you can redo it again, watch the replay, or, just kind of like maybe you have it memorized in your head already what we're going to do. Over on the left side, the bottom left, I'm not going to go add so much saturation in here or colors because we're going to go draw on the bottom left here, our haunted house. So I'm just going to add a little bit of color in there. All right. So now we have everything. If you do not have a baby wipes, what you can do is, if you have like a bowl of water, you can start dipping, your finger in that bowl of water in there, kind of like this, where it's really wet, and then just start going over your gelatos like this. So start blending and smudging, right? So, but me, I'm going to use my baby wipes, and I'm going to go over it once, and then I will probably reapply again, just so I can get a really, really good saturation of colors. And so notice how I'm just going kind of like round and circle, following that direction of how we applied it also. So I have a feeling that we're going to add some pink in there later on. Again, when we're doing this, you want to make sure that don't go as heavy, so that you don't pick up so much of the pigment. You want to keep some of the pigment in there for sure, because we don't want to waste them. See, all the pigments are in my baby wipes now, like that. So we're just going to go gentle. We just want to blend it really well. Because see, I can still see the parts of the paper peeking through. So we're definitely going to add another layer here. And then here as well. With the top, with the bottom left, we want to make sure that everything is blended so that our PITT Artist pen will lay down really nicely in there. We won't have any issue. So you want to blend the bottom left, right? I'm going to add more in here. So I'm going to move around my pointer finger to a cleaner area because there's not a whole lot of moisture in there. So if you see that your gelatos are not blending enough, so maybe it's time to kind of like move your finger to a much more juicier part of your baby wipes. There we go. This one, I'm really totally blending it. And I'm going to go clean up while I'm doing that. As I go through it, I'm cleaning also. Like that. All right, so I'm going to let it sit there for just seconds, and then I'm going to add another layer. I should have laid down, if you have like a glass mat, it's always so helpful. But you know what? Somebody took my glass mat here. I'm not going to name her. My daughter, she's using it when she's doing her nails. She's like, that is a craft mat. Mom, it's so perfect. Okay. Oh, make sure you get the clean part of the baby wipes when you're cleaning. All right. Okay, so now it's time to add another layer, especially the pink one. I don't think I'm really getting a lot of coverage from this bubble gum. So I think we're really going to have to pack this in. Pack it in. Just kind of like this. I'm almost running out too. All right. Thank you for sharing, Nicole. All right. Even the crumbles, I'm like putting it in there so I can really blend it. So we don't want to waste any of those little crumbles because those are like pure pigments in there. Okay, and then, yep, come here, crumbles. Going over again with my metallic grape. And then looking at this now, see my satellite color, the blue one. I'm not sure I like it where that it's before the galaxy color. I should have just put in the galaxy color straight on and then added like black licorice, the black one. So I'm going to go on top of that and then add my galaxy, which is like the very deep purple. Now, if you don't have the deep purple, you can just go ahead with the black if you want, or kind of like maybe if you have a gray color, go in with that. I know I can add the satellite later on, maybe. And then here, I'm really going to go add a little bit more here. Just like that. All right. I'm going to find a juicy spot in my baby wipes and just use it again. Here. And then with this pink, I'm going to try and kind of like not blend it so much. Oh, I can see some of my purples getting to it. It's okay. All right, and then move again my finger. I'm going to go with the purple. Metallics are, to me, it's just so much easier to blend. I think it's my favorite, the metallics. And then the iridescent, just because of how different it is. But it's so cool. It's just so cool. Gelatos are so cool. Every time I introduce the gelatos to, you know, whether it's like the journaling enthusiast or like the scrapbookers or the mixed media, they're like, oh my gosh, you know what? I had that in my stash for a long, long time. And I didn't realize you can create so many cool things with it. Because it's like we thought it was like just pastel colors and, you know, or pastel, oil pastel. And I'm like, no, you can do so many cool things with the gelatos. I just love it. There we go. You can really see that. And I'm kind of like going over the bubble gum already because it's like, it's not really giving me anything. You know, the pink is not so much. So it's like maybe we can try the pink sapphire, the iridescent. Let's see what it's going to look like. But this one is lighter, but maybe it will give us a little bit better coverage. So this one is called Pink Sapphire. We're just applying it on top of the bubble gum. Ooh, I love it. I told you this one has like a purple undertone to it, like the mica powder of this one is like giving me a purple tone. Look, it blends so perfectly with that metallic grape. It's so pretty. Try to find a cleaner part here in my baby wipes. Just kind of like wrap it around. And again, just gentle, not so much pressure because I really want all those pigments in there. We're just going to go a little bit like this, just like that. Ooh, I love it. That was a good call. Yeah, if you can get like a really good deal, especially now if there's like Christmas, the holidays are here, maybe Michael's will have really good deals for the gelatos. If you have a loved one, write it down in your wish list, the full set, because I promise you it's going to be a really nice investment. Put it on your wish list. Say, I want the whole sets of gelatos. I want all the finishes. I want the pastel. I want the bright set. I want the metallic set. I want all of it. All right, so I'm going to go over with a little bit of galaxy. So I want to create this kind of like really circular motion. It's almost like there's a little bit of motion in there. So where I have the metallic grapes in here, will the watercolor paper? I think so, yeah. I mean, as long as you're not using a whole lot of moisture, that's why I think the baby wipes help because it doesn't have a lot of water, right? But even if there's like water, it depends on the paper. So this watercolor paper is holding up pretty well. So this one is the Artist Loft Series 2 edition. So not so expensive. Jennifer said they have the 20% off. Yes, exactly. Yeah, those are good deals. Um, Multiple times. I didn't do any, we didn't do any gesso for this one. It was just the watercolor paper. And I'm so surprised that the gelatos are blending well because sometimes just depends on the paper that we're using. Sometimes it doesn't blend as easily as you would like, but in this paper, I'm surprised and I'm really amazed how it's blending very, very well. See that we've covered up most of the texture of the paper, which is really surprising to me because this one is textured. This one is the cold press, but we had no issue blending it. So it was really cool. Um, Gelato is like an oil pastel at a sense that it is creamy, right? But it is very different because this one is water soluble. The oil pastel is not going to blend with water unless, of course, you see an oil pastel that is water soluble, which is really, it's almost like very contradicting. So the gelatos are water soluble pigments that is blendable with water. You can use it many different ways, like kind of like the smudging that we did earlier, kind of like, how that's how we would blend a oil pastel as well. But the fun part about the gelatos is that once they are dry, they are going to be water resistant. So once your layer is dry underneath, then it will not be able to blend with any more water. So that is why I love using this for these sort of things, because once they're dry completely, I know that it's there and I won't be able to pick it up later on even if I want to. So, just having that in your head that, okay, know that when this is dry, it's dry and I cannot move it again with any water so that, everything is kind of like placed in your head. As long as you work through layers and you know what you're doing and say, okay, I want to make sure that I blend this well enough. So blend that while it's still wet and creamy, because once it's dry, it's going to be water resistant and you won't be able to do anything about it unless you cover it up. All right. So as you can see, I just added a little bit of that galaxy, the deeper purple, that deeper purple. So it kind of like added that circular motion. See those ones? I'm gonna go zoom in just a slight bit, and I'm gonna move me to the side so we can see it a bit more. There we go. You're welcome, Angie. Yes. All right, so if you feel like you want to add a little bit more pink, I have a little bit area here that's not covered. Just want to make sure that I really cover that well. As you can see now, I'm just applying the gelatos directly, and I'm just using my fingers. I'm not even using any water or anything like that. This one, all the pigments will get in there, right? Because I'm not picking it up really with my finger. If I am, barely. So I'm really just packing in all the pigments down there. So you can smudge it, you can use it as a watercolor, use a water brush, pick up the pigments straight from the barrel. It's just so fun, so fun. Okay, now I want to add a little bit of black to the edges. All right, so I'm going to use the black licorice. And I'm just going to add a little bit there. Remember, it's better to add little at a time so you can understand how much you really want in there. And again, we're going to add black in here anyways, because we want to set our haunted house kind of like setting on a hill. Right now, I'm just going to go wet my finger like this a little bit and then just smudge. It will help to smudge it much better. Just like that. I really want the concentration of those black licorice in there. So I'm not going to use my baby wipes. I just want to pack the pigments. And again, kind of like wetting it by just touching the baby wipes and then just smudge it again. And then my motion is just kind of like a wiper, you know, a windshield wiper in here. It's kind of like go side by side like this. And how fun is this when you're using the gelatos? You know, I was talking to Nicole about this earlier, is that when I'm playing, when I'm working with the gelatos, I never feel like it's in the box, it always feels like playing. All that happy mess in my fingers. It's just so much fun. There we go. I'm gonna add a little bit in there, a little bit like that. All right, I think I'm happy with that because we can always adjust later on, but I don't want to run out of time. So I am going to, which brand am I using? The gelatos, there's only one brand. It's going to be the Faber-Castell Gelatos. So here we go. So I'm just using the X-ACTO knife to lift up my tapes. And then once it's lifted, I'm just going to do this. Now, if you feel like, because some painter's tape will have like super stickiness, you want to make sure you use a blow dryer or a heat tool to kind of like warm the surface first, the area, so that you won't have any issues with that. So there we go. The Faber-Castell is the original and it's the best. I have tried other brands before that were sent to me to kind of like review and to try. And I mean, I'm not being a snub, but I mean, it's some of them are really, the finish is, some are chalky, some are like super sleek on top that it's really hard to apply anything else on top of them. But yes, there are other kind of like brands that they're going to call, what, maybe they're going to call it like pigment sticks or I don't know, but gelatos are really just the best that I have worked with when it comes to pigment sticks like this. All right. Okie dokie. So now we have that white part revealed. What are we going to do? We're going to use our yellow in here. All right. And I can see that there's a little bit of blue in there. So I'm just going to try and clean it so we don't get that blue crumbles. Just clean it. There we go. We have that one. All right. There we go. Jen, thank you so much. All right. Okay, here we go. Clean it up and we're just going to apply our, this is the Canary Diamond. So pretty. It's like a very light yellow. This is part of the iridescence. So it's going to have that undertone, I'm telling you. This one, we don't want to be super careful. We don't want to, because you already have that very sharp clean because of the tape that we created earlier. So we can just blend it even on top of the pink, and it's just going to blend and give us a nice, you know, slight orange tone to that because yellow and pink, right? So I'm going to do this one, make sure my fingers are clean for this. So I'm just going to smudge. Look at this. Ooh. And it's also, there should be like a scientific explanation of when you're like playing, getting your hands dirty like this. That's like so satisfying. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I find it really just so liberating when I'm like painting with my fingers rather than using a brush. Now, again, if you don't have this color, it's okay. I promise you need it, but this time it's okay. You can use any other yellow or orange if you want, like a light orange, just like this. It's so pretty, so pretty. Exactly. I think that's it. The finger painting when we're little, so it reminds you of that kind of like just that mess. I'm going to add just a little bit more to the edges just to really cover up some of that white. And it's okay if we go a little bit over and touch the pink. It's going to be pretty. Then I'm just going to make sure that my fingers are moist so I can smudge it really nice and easy blending. So even though I'm getting some of that pink, look, I'm blending it anyways, and it just blends with that Canary Diamond. It's so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna stop there because I won't stop. All right, it's so cool. Okay, it's so bright too. Look on the camera. It's super, super bright. I find a little bit of crumbles here and there. I'm just gonna go blend all of that. It's so much fun, Candy. I know it. Okay. Ta-da-da! All right. If you want to practice a little bit, maybe you can for your haunted house. But honestly, what we want in here is it's almost like we want it so wonky, so we don't want it perfect. We almost want it like wonky to make it look very whimsical. Does that make sense? So I'm going to create a hill. So we want parts of the haunted house, a little bit, covering the moon, maybe just a slight bit. And we want to create like a hill in here. So I'm just going to use the black licorice, like a Dr. Seuss house. Exactly. Yes, it is. So I'm going to go over on the left and then just bring it down. Just bring it down. So we're just going to create the hill first, like that. I'm just adding a little bit more. Okay. And this one, I'm just going to apply the licorice. Just like this. Every time we play with gelatos, guys, we are always having fun. I don't know if you guys remembered last year we painted like a winter scene with the gelatos. We created a snowman with the so much fun. Right, I'm gonna go with my slightly damp finger and I'm just gonna smudge everything because we really want a pure concentration in here of that color. So we really want it dark, just like this. And if it's not blending well anymore, make sure that you kind of like wet your finger again and then smudge everything just like this. Da, da, da. And then we're going to use the PITT artist pens for the haunted house. So this one, the heel, we won't cover this and really make it dark. And I'm just going to add to the parts where I can see the underneath layer, which is, the purple or the metallic grape and galaxy. It's so fun. As long as you have it like covered, doesn't have to be perfect. Again, when we're doing our class, when you're attending our class, you know that we're not about perfection. We're all about the process and really just having fun and allowing ourselves to create. This is what's so fun about what we do here with Faber-Castell and with Michaels, of course. So I want to get a clean edge later when we pull the tapes. So I really want to make sure that I get it over there so we can have a really nice border. Okay, I think we've covered it. I think this is good. Da, da, da. Come on, camera. What are you doing? It's like getting me spooky. Right, so I am going to start drawing a house. So we want it 2-layered. Want it really spooky. So I'm going to start with, I think I made it so high, but it's okay. So I'm just going to make it parts of my house. We've been drawing a house since we were young, so don't overthink this one. I'm just going to make mine like simple. And then I'm going to make mine like this. The most important thing is we want to create windows. So we want to create, so we can add some lights inside. So I'm just going to add square or a rectangle shape. Depends on how big your house is. The reason why we're using the PITT Artist, the big brush today, is because it's so much easier to draw on top of the gelatos. If you're going to use other markers, it might not work. So the brush, especially the big brush, is very easy. So this time. And then we're going to make all of these black later on, but I'm going to add my second layer. So for my second layer, I'm going to make it where any geometry experts in here, what is this shape? So just two angled. So angled line. Here we go. Trapezoid. There we go. And then we're going to add another. So this one is the roof, slightly smaller. I guess we didn't add it. We should have added closer to the moon, but it's okay. We're just going to add some bats in there later on. It's going to be fun. And then we're going to create this one where it's almost like there's a, so I guess mine is 3 layers, right? It's like this, like that. And then we're going to go bring it up. Just following that. We're going to do that. I didn't keep 8. Over here, we're going to also keep, oh, we're going to draw a window. So just like this. We're going to add 2 lines in the middle, slightly slanted, just like that. All right. And in the second layer also, we're going to make it where this one is like angled, just like this. Parts of the window here, just like that. Like that. Because remember, we're going to cover everything black except for the inside of our windows. So we're just going to add this, divide it into 4, just like that. All right, I think we're good. And then this one, I wanted to make it really pointy, but we're just going to add another layer, just like that. Okay, so we're going to cover it up with black. This goes smoothly. This is the Faber-Castell, the PITT Artist Pen in big brush. So there's a smaller version which is also my favorite, but this one really covers up larger space so easily. And so when I'm drawing and I know I have like a lot of black areas, I use this one. So we're just going to cover this in black. And this one is also light fast. It is waterproof when it's dry. So if you're going to work, with watercolors, you're really going to love this one because once they're dry, they are water resistant. So kind of like the gelatos. Once they're dry, they're water resistant. Just going to keep everything like this. The gelatos, unlike the pastels or chalk, it does a little bit, but because of the baby wipes, since I'm working with the baby wipes, I like to kind of like clean while I'm working. Does that make sense? I feel like it's less messier than a pastel, but you still get a little bit of mess, but you can easily clean it up. The thing that I don't use a whole lot is the um, kind of like a chalk pastel because it's so messy. You know how it's so powdery, it just goes everywhere. Even though gelatos have a little bit of crumbles, it's much easier to clean up. And so I don't know if you have noticed that we don't really do a lot with the chalk pastel just because of how messy it is. But I should play around with it also so we can create something with that one because you can create some cool things with it also. But with the gelatos, I can create anything I want. So it's like, it's so hard. These are not acrylic. These are water-based India ink. So the PITT artist pens are water-based India ink. They don't have any smell. So, and they're so rich and so black. There's no pumping or anything like that. You know how with some other markers, especially the acrylic paints, you have to kind of like keep pumping to get a lot of that juiciness. Yeah, so it's like really not my favorite. So if you want to add uh, a little bit of trees maybe underneath, kind of like those creepy looking trees, the winter looking trees, you can do so. So we can add a little bit. So remember, you want to be intentional to make it look a little bit of, whimsical. So our intentions are not to make it perfect, but just whimsy and kind of like kooky, wonky, just like that. Want to add some branch to it, maybe a little bit here, almost like this. There you go. And then maybe a little bit here too. All right. So if we want to add a little bit of gate or fencing or anything like that, you can add that as well. But I think I'm going to stick to this one. I want to add some flag on top. If you want to switch marker, the PITT Artist pen and brush is going to work as well. If you want it to be like smaller, so you can work it better. This one is dark indigo, so I'm trying to find my black one. Should be here somewhere. Yes, this is the B size. This one is so in the PITT Artist pen, in the big brush, The only one that is not a brush tip would be the white. So the white would be, I'm going to say this is, I don't know if Miss Jen is still here. I don't know if this is 2.0 or maybe 2.5 because it's not definitely a not 1.5 bullet tip, but it is a slightly larger bullet tip like this one. Let's turn down the brightness. There we go. So this would be 101 in white, and it will have a slightly larger bullet tip. So it's easier to add like details or anything like that. Much easier. Come on, camera. There we go. So if you want to add like stars, and this is what we're going to do to add stars in there. 2.5, there you go. So we're going to add like this. I love adding like dots using this one, especially those little mini tiny stars in there. So we can just add like that. So it's like a really spooky night. And it goes really well on top of the gelatos as well. So you can add a little bit if you want on top of your moon, it's okay. But I'm just gonna go like areas like that. Okay. Do we want to add a little bit of the fence in here? We can, you know, kind of like it goes down a little bit here. Just add lines, that goes down. When I'm trying to be wonky and whimsy with my lines, I kind of make it like almost like dash lines or broken lines. It really does help with that illusion of, that wonkiness or that imperfect lines, just like this. Right now we want to add, if you want to add a little bit here to show that there's fences over there also, kind of like go on top of in there, just like that. So I want to add a little bit of bats. So of course, everything in here would be larger. Everything on the back would be a little smaller. So if you want to add, just some bat, doesn't have to be perfect. Add some ears. Make sure that you have the wings. That's the most important part. Is just add the wings. So if you want to add a bat over here, you want to make this one slightly larger than everything else in the back. Just like this, and then cover it up again. So much fun. The washi tape, thank you so much. Okay, then add a little bit here too, a smaller one again. And then we're gonna add some spooky ghosts. This one kind of looks like a cat. Maybe I made it like super big and fat. Sorry, bat. It's having some identity crisis. I'm like, am I a bat or am I a cat? You're a bat. Excuse the artist. All right, here we go. Let's just add super duper cute. This is like such a fun project to create with, with your little ones as well, because it's so easy. It's messy. There's not a whole lot of kind of like overthinking because even our haunted house is like, not perfect. So everything is just imperfect and just really having fun. So I'm going to use the orange glaze and I'm just going to color in inside the windows that we've created earlier. So like this. This one is the orange glaze 113. Again, if you don't have the orange, maybe you have a yellow. There we go. Like that. And it gives you this perfect glow inside the house. It's like this. And then remember the lunar that I showed you earlier? We can add a little bit of highlights using that. But we also have the PITT Artist Pen in white. You can definitely use that as well. You don't need to have the lunar, but then again, you want it. You're going to want it. So I'm just going to color in the inside also. Just pretend that there's like a glass door in there that you can see through. So they can see the glow. Side that. Woo. Right, then we want to draw some kind of like ghost flying out of our haunted house. So this one, again, this is like super easy. Look at the shape, just like this, like really, almost like a teardrop shape, right? Yeah, it's so fun. Look, so we're gonna draw this. So we're gonna color it inside. And the fun part about the white Pitt artist pen is that it would be a little translucent in the beginning, but keep it, give it a little second and it will dry. And then you can add another layer to add a little bit more opaqueness or that, rich, whiter color. But it's perfect for the ghost because we want it to be kind of like semi-translucent, right? So I love that. So we're going to go color on top of the yellow. So it kind of like you can really see through parts of the pink, parts of the purple, parts of the yellow. And what's going to change later is that if you add some ice later on. So we're going to do that too. Okay. And I'm going to have one here. It's going to like a much larger one like this. So you can add, some scallop or a different shape at the bottom instead of just like a teardrop. This one. Woo. And then you can add some lettering to this one. You know, add like boo or, anything like that. Maybe add one more, maybe over here, like that. You can add some expressions to your ghost, or you can just add like a simple, like dot. 2 dots for the eyes, maybe a smaller one here. You can add like, hands, arms like that. I think my arms is bigger than my body. Really, like, so you can add that. Add a little bit there. Stop haunting people, but they're so cute. We're not scared of you, ghosts. There. You're going to see here where it's a little bit more opaque, right? Because I did like the second layer on top of the first layer of the white. Super, super fun. I'm going to let that dry before we add our final touches, which is the eyes. But I want to grab the lunar color because I want to show you where I want to add a little bit of highlights, where parts of that moon is shining. I want to make sure that my is clean. So I'm just cleaning it in the baby wipes. There we go. Yeah, you can definitely add characters in here for sure if you want. The fun part is that you can use another watercolor paper and create your characters in there and make this almost like your background. Wouldn't that be so cool? That would be so cool. All right, I'm gonna so you can really see that richness of the color. This is so fun. Now I'm going to add a little bit of highlights to everything on the right where parts of that moon is kind of like hitting just right. So again, you can use the Pitt Artist for this one if you want, but I don't want it so opaque. I want it just kind of like just a touch of that light. So I have it here and then I'm going to clean it up again. Parts of that Pitt Artist pens is on the top of my Lunar. So I'm just cleaning it with my finger and I'm just adding it there again. You might not even see it, but it's just a slide there. And I feel like the Lunar has this like purple undertone also, or maybe pink, even pink, because I can see it like peeking through that one. So it's not completely white. If you want like a white, then you can use the metallic icing. Metallic icing would be really good for this one as well. Let's try that one. I feel like you can really get a concentrated white here than the lunar because again, iridescent will give you like different effects. I love using it like in black. The colors are totally different. It shows totally different on a black paper or when I'm using my black journal. See this one where you have more white. So this one is the metallic icing. Now, if you don't want any metallic sheen to it, then you can use the coconut, which is the white color as well, which is one of my favorite colors also. I'm just going to clean it up and then use this. So I want to show you like options that you can get, right? So you can, parts of that, is getting light. If you want to go on top of your little bit of that window, you can touch that. A little bit of highlights here. And then you can create kind of like so you can see here, we can go all on top of the black licorice that we have applied, and you can just kind of like glaze on top of this, kind of like this, and then just smudge a little bit, or use your baby wipes if you don't want a concentrated white. Just kind of like adding those highlights in there, just like this, just like that. But yeah, I'm gonna add faces to my ghosts now, and I think we are done, unless you want to add, some lettering to this. Maybe you can use the moon as your base for your lettering. You can, add trick or treat or spooky times or anything like that. What did we do last week for our lettering? You can use that on top of the moon like this. And I think what's going to be cool is if we have that open mouth also for the ghost, like, oh, like a little bit of that. Yeah, that's perfect. I think that's what missing. Yeah. Ooh. It's like this. But again, remember, guys, that when you're doing this, and if you feel like, you know what, I don't think I got I didn't get a good blending this time. The more you do this, the more you practice, the more you play with your mediums, with your art supplies, the better you get. It's just as simple as that. If you let it sit in your stash, in your craft room, in your office, you're not going to get better. Don't be afraid to try and make mistakes, because that is how we are going to learn. Now, look at this. This is the most satisfying part, is when I'm like taking off my tape, like revealing that clean edge. It's like, oh, so satisfying. I love it. I love it so much. And this one, you can frame it, you can gift it to a friend. You can scan it, your work, and then turn it into digital. And then you can easily kind of like, turn it into a card and give more people than just one, and then you can keep your original art with you, right? So if you scan it and you turn it into a digital, you can share it with people, then you keep your original art. Make sure to date it to understand when I made this. So I know that next time if I create something like this, it would be better, right? So just play around with it, Um, again, I hope that this was inspiring. I hope that it wasn't super hard. I hope that you had fun again with us. That's the most important part. That's the most important part, is you have fun with what we're doing. So in behalf of Faber-Castell USA and Michael Stores, my name is Leibella Rolston. I hope you had a wonderful time with us. And this was a spooky fun, but it really turned out so cute. I think I'm going to display it here in my craft room, because downstairs is already Christmas. So it's going to stay here in my craft room. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. I hope you'll be able to join us again next week, because we're going to have more spectacular classes to come. All right. So thank you again, everyone. Have a great evening. And as always, stay creative and stay happy. See you again soon. Bye.